same profession. Boxing, the recheck, and moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's just this infinity loop because it just keeps happening. And the more you do that, and the more comfortable you get with that, the stronger your team is. So that you're not these peaks and valleys over and over again, because that part is painful. If you watch my business over the last 20 years, there are very, very few like shoot up parts like this. But guess what? There are also very, very few drops. It's just kind of the steady, little growth like this. And it doesn't go, and you don't look at it and like, oh my gosh, look at that. But it's just the steady, consistent movement. And that is so much more comfortable. I mean, you go through the, real estate in 08, you got the pandemic, you got, like 9/11, you got all these different things that, have come, stock market crashes and everything else. And my business historically has just stayed consistent because of that. Yeah, our next speaker, we're going to talk about, this thing, customer retention system. How does this work? Because you've got to get this down. If we're going to start and build from the bottom up, or start with assessments and acquiring customers first, we've got to keep them and we got to move them through the process. And so to do that, we got Julie Toth coming back to the stage. Please welcome her.
All right, so how many of you guys have ever just dropped the ball? Just really screwed up. So I'm on, you guys, I'm on a recheck before a call a few weeks ago with affiliate and her mom. And her mom is the customer that we did a brilliant assessment with and a great unboxing with. And then we dropped the ball. And in all fairness, at the beginning of the year, we didn't really have all of our assessment, all of our pieces together, right? But we got called out on it. And I'm so grateful it was her mom. But she had canceled her subscription. Oh. And so, unbeknownst to me, by the way. So I just went through the process and I get to it and I come up and she said, well, if you would have followed up with me, you would have known that I wasn't doing it right. And I was like, girl. So I take that one and I look at these numbers and I'm like, you know what, for 24 years, 25 years, it's okay. I am where I am, and we get to learn from that. And I'm so excited, you guys, because that's the whole reason why we have the rest of the story. We've had great systems over the years, but we haven't had the rest of the story. So look at these numbers, because we're not alone. The supplement industry customer retention is pathetic. 5 to 10%. That means that they're buying things off the shelf to try them out, and there's no real loyalty to and trust with where they're buying it from, and they don't know if they're working, and they drop and go to another one. But the new skin customer retention is great compared to that at 20%. But now look what our target customer retention is based on the numbers, not just based on what we think it'll be, but based on the numbers. It's 80 to 95%. Now, how many of you would like to have those kind of averages, right? And when I look at my business over the last 25 years, when I look at my business over the last 25 years, what are the subscribers that stuck with their subscriptions? Think about those that stuck with it. We've had some really good subscribers, but let's be honest, they were the ones that were doing the business and they fell in love with the product and they're still on the product, but they weren't necessarily customers per se. They're our best customers, but that's where we need to get that. So during the assessment, we're going to schedule the unboxing. And one thing I want to say to you, is I will be the first to say that I was skipping some sections. I can read, but then I was like skipping the pages. Okay, read it and continue to go through it and schedule this. This is so crucial. Yes, you guys, we know that they can unbox a light pack and read directions. Do you know how many unboxings that people have gotten to a day or two after because their order gets in a little bit earlier and they're not doing what it says to do? They are not following directions. And we don't follow directions, to be honest. And so I found that that person that was going to cancel was only doing it once a day. She was not getting the results. And guess what? The person that was on the phone with me that I was doing it with was also not following directions and not taking their supplements as directed. And so it was just passing down. So the unboxing is going to be scheduled. It's part of the assessment. It's in there and says, now we're going to schedule an unboxing. And please schedule that. It's for many reasons, not just to tell them how to read directions. Okay. So this is what it looks like when you have somebody that's gone from an assessment to unboxing, you're scheduling it with them on the spot and you put that into the assessment, then it goes into this loop and you'll see at the top, it has unboxing and it will be in the red because that's going to tell you that's the next step. Green's done, assessment's done, unboxing is next. You pull at the contact and then you click on the little plus sign, the green one at the bottom, and you click on unboxing and pops up and it populates what you have them ordering, okay? And what their top 2 highest priorities are as well. It's automatically bringing it in. And when you go through this unboxing, it's going to ask them questions and it's scripted in there. So during the unboxing, as you're going through, and this goes for whether you have someone that's bought the Prism or just the subscription, because obviously they got the Prism, you're going to walk them through how to set that up. And during that unboxing, you're going to schedule the What's Up call for 2 days later. Now, I haven't done that. Sometimes the teacher in front of the room needs to learn from themselves. That would be me. But it makes sense because I think I've automatically been doing that. I've been reaching out to them a few days after the unboxing just to see how they're doing. So again, that's another touch point. These touch points are so important because you build that relationship of trust and you want to continue building that relationship of trust as you go. And then the recheck is scheduled for a month after. So in America, it takes us about a week to get our product. So I've been doing the unboxing 1 week after. So today is Thursday. I would schedule the unboxing Thursday of next week. And then when I'm on the unboxing, part of the thing is or the script is to schedule that recheck. And I do it a month after that Thursday. Okay. So that's 1 week, 2 days, a month for the recheck. The recheck is a little bit more in depth and it asks more questions because lots of things have happened. Remember, there's 4 things that we're really gearing towards, and that's lifestyle, that's their habits in the nutrition area, that's their habits in the exercise if we're clicking on that part, and then there's supplements. And so we're going to be asking more questions as we're going into the recheck. So you see on that infinity loop, it then is red on the recheck because I did the unboxing and I've scheduled the recheck. And then I said that you're going to click on the plus sign. There is a what's script and there is a recheck script. Now, one thing I want you to notice on the screen here is if they have been scanned or they have a Prism, we have a starting point for their scan. Now, you know me, I don't go running around Houston and I don't fly around scanning people. They're going to buy a Prism or they're not going to know they're scanning or they're coming to me. But in the case that they come to me and they get scanned, I'm going to put it in there. Or if they have their own Prism, I'm going to have them send me a screenshot and we're actually going to put that in there so we know they're before and what they're after. And we then part of the recheck that I love is how it goes through as well as the unboxing, but it goes through and tells you what the percent it will increase potentially from the different things that they're doing. So that's scripted. And during the recheck, we're then gonna schedule a subscription call 1 month later. Why? What happens? We want to keep them getting their subscriptions every month, right? And so we want to have that call to make sure everything's going great, that they're on track. They're going to be able to see in their subscription, they're 1 out of 3 months to get their vouchers, that they're adding enough to get the free shipping at $100, or they're real close to the $250 so that they can get then on track for the voucher that's higher. So that's going to then be scheduled. And then you're going to see it turn red. You're going to go see the script on that. And then during the subscription call, you're going to get a recheck 1 month later. That 1 month later is going to be 3 months into their subscription. So what happens after month 3 on their subscription? So vouchers, rewards, right? You're getting vouchers. Yeah. So all along the way, we're reminding them that number 1, they're on track. Number 2, how are you feeling? Different questions we're asking. And then that third one is, oh my gosh, we have a voucher. What are we going to spend it on? And sometimes along the way, I'm asking, what are you going to spend your voucher on? Right? And just encourage them. And so that looks in the infinity loop. It's now red. We go and click on it, and then we do that. There's also questions within each one of these pieces that asks about an info call. Okay, each step of the way, it's asking you if you have asked them about an info call. So we're literally building the business into the entire customer acquisition. Guys, that is so big. How many of you out there are more comfortable and have been in your business up until now, have been more comfortable about going after product people? So like customer acquisition, leading with the product. How many of you are more comfortable overall leading with the product? Hands up, leading with the product. Okay, hands down. How many of you are more comfortable leading with the business? Okay. Another question, how many of you guys came in because of a product experience? That's a lot of people. Okay. And then how many of you came in because of the business, just that was all you had? Okay, that's good too. So what if those two married each other, right? Because remember, our scripting is bringing them in to help us and get what? Their opinion, so we can get referrals, that in turn, when you're getting referrals, by the way, when you get a referral and you set an assessment for them, are you going to tell them? Yes, you're going to have them listen in, and guess what? Now they have the opportunity to then have a person on your team. So you're building this whole thing in from the very beginning. Now, I'll be honest, I came in on the business. I also be honest, that scares the Jeebus out of me, and I always led with the business, but I will tell you, I am much more comfortable leading with the product. Call me chicken, I don't know. So when this marriage came together, I'm like, yes, we can do it all the time. We don't have to pick. There's no top down, bottom up. There is just up. We're just going, right? And so when we need to do the info call is important because we're asking the questions along the way, okay? The very first thing we do on the assessment says, are you open to building this with us together? And even if it's a no, the very end of the assessment is, based on what you just said, are there people that come to mind that we could do an assessment with or a prison scan with? So now, basically in the first assessment, we've asked them twice about the business without them really understanding, okay? And it's funny, there is no maybe on the business. It's yes or no, which I think is hilarious. I've never even said anything to Charlie. Like, there's no maybe. Because you get so many people saying maybe. And I'll stop and go, is that a yes? Is that a no? Because there's no maybe. So, the info call. That's also scripted. How many of you guys have used the info call? Because I know that a few of us have used it. And we have a couple tools of videos you can have them watch beforehand. And we have a new one. And then you do that info call. So that's when they say yes, they're open to learning, and you can send that to them. Okay. All right, so I came out a little fast, but my excitement on this is big, because remember when I came on here earlier this morning, you have to remember your why. You have to remember why you're doing this. And the more people you help, right? The more people you help, the more that you get helped. And in turn, you get what you want because you're helping other people. And so remember climbing up in a tree, our why, being able to be at 57 and, 8 years old, because, Bill's only 8, that we climbed up in a tree with our grandchild. That's really what it's all about, is working hard, dreaming hard, and then realizing your dreams. And because of the infinity loop, do I have a question?
Yeah, the recheck is a month after, 5 minutes after. If I do the math, that 10 days earlier, they got me email saying your subscription's about to, which is the risk of cancellation.
There is a risk of cancellation. There absolutely is, which is, and so his question, which I have thought about as well, is at the assessment, a week later is the unboxing. Okay, so that means that they have a subscription coming basically in 3 weeks, right? The recheck is 1 month later, so we're 1 week after when their subscription should have shipped. And we have the possibility, which I have had, of people have canceled or held their order. So one thing that I would recommend to you guys, that you're very strong on the assessment of reminding them a couple things about the subscription, is that number one, that they are getting vouchers. So if they stop it, they're not going to get their vouchers. And if there's any questions to get with you, that'd be the second thing. They're also helping feed a child. That's in there as well, as part of our Feed the Children program, the Nurse the Children program. And then the other piece of that is we want to stay in contact with them. That's again why that what's up call 2 days after you unbox, and then that recheck, that they know we're always reaching out to them. So that is a good point, but I'm not sure how we get around that, because I think this system of being able to do it a week, 2 days later, and a month later is super crucial. But
Could we do the recheck call the day they get that email? We don't.
I mean, you can always do the recheck call whenever you want to. There's no rule, but we just want you to do a recheck call within that first month. It's really important. And we want to get to the 80%, and we want to make sure they're staying on subscription. And the biggest thing that I see, and I know you guys probably do, is money, or it's they're not being compliant, or they don't have a prism to know if their score is going up. And so that's the other piece, is when you're going on to that unboxing, I always, again, say, would you want to consider getting a prism? I bring that up again, as you guys know, I have the prism in my hand every time I'm talking to these people. And so I do that as well. So anyway, great question. And again, I'm really excited that we're building this together. It's not just about one way or the other. It's not just about the bottom up, the top down. It's really about how we're married to the customer acquisition and the business acquisition. That's it.
I wanted everybody to hear that song a little longer. I was actually back there sitting there like, Scott, you're gonna go out? I'm like, oh, forgot. Okay. Our next speaker, we're gonna bring back up, is Izzy, who's gonna kind of bring this, kind of wrap it with a bow, if you will. Okay, so you got the customer, you got the infinity loop, you got the customer retention and acquisition part. And now it's how do you start bringing in the info call, the business side, where does all of that come together? Is that fair? You guys with us? All right, so with that, Izzy, come on down.
So I am super excited to present this topic as somebody who traditionally built my business top down. As I shared earlier, I had a lot of reservations about leading bottom up, right? Never really led with the customer opportunity. Who here has reservations around M5 because of exactly what I've just said? And be honest, if it's you, that's totally cool. I've not got judgment on it. So I love this because it allows me to tie it all together. Now, you have no idea how much time that took to get this visual like that. So I had this vision in my head about how this would look, and then it came out, and I was like, I think maybe we should take that out. Anyway, it's a sandwich and an upside down sandwich because to me, that is this business. And it's what we're doing with M5. So we took a lot of time trying to get the left to south bottom. So you leave with the customer, you leave with the distributor. Ultimately, you are having the same outcome. You're having the same experience. You're eating the sandwich, right? So I'm going to talk you through this because this, for me, honestly, took a lot of time to wrap my head around as somebody that had led it in the business top down. And I'm going to chat you through both of these because I really want people to come away from this understanding that there absolutely is a top-down approach to this, and there absolutely is a bottom-up approach to this, okay? So we've been talking a lot about the visual on the left, Ethor, and we did that with Julie. We're scheduling the assessment. We're doing the assessment. We're going to have some training on exactly how to posture and position for the assessment over the coming days. And then you would schedule an info call, as Julie said just now, if they have interest in the business, you are going to schedule that on the appointment, okay? And these slides have just skipped. Wait, did I just hit the button? Okay, so you're going to schedule the assessment, you're going to do the info call, and then you're going to send the M5 video, which is the video that you have seen a couple of times over the last 2 days. And then you're going to do the info call, okay, which is effectively talking about the business. And then with the construct that you have here in North America, ideally you are going to be getting a new business builder onto the $750 prison kit because it presents an excellent duplication model. Okay, on the right-hand side, you've got the business invitation, okay, and I'm going to share an example of the kind of thing that I send. You know, this is my happy place. Like, I could invite someone to the business all day long, and it's what drew me into the business. I never came into the business to be a client, both here and in my previous company. I came because I saw the business opportunity, okay? So with that, I'm just going to explain how that would all roll out using the M5 system. So you do a business invitation, you would have a 6-step conversation. So you're inviting them to do a 3-way call with you. I know you guys use that terminology quite a lot. It might be a call, one-to-one, dependent upon how much experience and confidence you have in sharing the business. And you're going to have a 6-step conversation. Now, this is something that was trained on in OTG a few months ago. I know it's still available. Who is familiar with the idea of 6-step communication yet? Okay, so probably about half of us. So I would definitely go ahead, and that's a separate conversation for another day. I would definitely make sure that you watch that OTG training, because that is exactly how I would construct a business call. I'm asking people a little bit about themselves. I'm asking them what is important for them to know. And then I am answering their questions about the business. And old me would have been like, great, okay, cool, I've answered your question, ready to get started, and started somebody. What's really, really important though, is that if we are going to have massive success with the M5 tool, we need to ensure that prior to onboarding, they have experienced the assessment. Okay, I have had so many comments from people that have said, wow, that assessment process feels really professional. And I could see myself doing that. I know, Charlie spoke about this about Krista. She was watching Charlie over his shoulder and she said, I could do this, right? So really important part. And I know if you've led top down, probably the intention or the natural way that you would do it is be like, well, let's just get them signed up with the pack. It's really important that they see the assessment first, okay? And you can come at that from the perspective of, I would really like you to see the tool that we use. And ultimately, if we think about that,
if they are seeing the tool that you're using, then they are able to see whether or not they could, or what they might want to get started with. Julie, would you mind just moving a little bit? I can't see the timer. Sorry. Thanks. So from that, you would then schedule the info call, okay? And this info call I have been in action with for, as I said yesterday, a couple of weeks. And I had reluctance to use it because I had always onboarded people through a 6-step conversation. I will tell you that that info call in M5 that is part of that infinity loop is absolutely incredible. It is a text. You don't share your screen, you read it, you are asking them questions. You're asking them at the end of it, you know, are you a 10, I'm ready to get started, or are you a 1 to 9, you've got more questions. And you're asking them for more of their questions, and then you're onboarding them, okay? And at that point, you've got the $750 prison kit. And as you can see, if we look at the visual on the left and the right, effectively the last few steps are the same. So it's really, really important for duplication, guys, that if you are a top-down business builder, that you absolutely follow these steps and ensure that they've experienced the assessment. Because ultimately, that's going to be their own belief and posture when they come into the business. If they haven't experienced of the assessment, then that's going to duplicate. If we haven't given them an experience of the assessment as a top-down approach, then you're going to find that that duplication as you roll through the business and onboard more people is going to be more difficult. So this is my business invite. You know, this is what I write. I have spent a lot of time really focusing on, you know, making it sound like me. I put a kiss at the end of my messages. I know in the States that's probably a bit over-friendly, so you probably wouldn't do that. So hi Layla, I hope you're having an amazing week so far. I don't know if you've seen, I'm part of an incredible global intelligent wellness business, and I help a lot of business-minded professionals build the most amazing income and impact alongside what they already do. If I get you some more details, would you like to learn more about the business opportunity? Okay, so there's a couple of things I just want to talk about in that invitation. If you did want to use that and reword it, I think it's really fundamental that one, for you guys to know that if I'm not approaching a professional, then I'm not going to put, I help a lot of business-minded professionals. If it's like a working mum or somebody that's had a corporate career like me and they're in motherhood, I might put a lot of business-minded, you know, mums, build the most amazing income. And then the other thing that I would like to say is just recognize the end construct of that invitation. If I do X, would you do Y? Okay, it's human nature, reciprocity. If I give you, you know, 5 grapes, would you give me 5 pence, right? It's that you're going to be way more likely to get a positive outcome from an invitation if it's got an, if I do X, would you do Y construct in it? Okay, so I always, if it's a business invite, I'm constructing them like that. Okay, so the steps to book the info call, you are just going to book it through the system. Okay, so it then gives the opportunity to send them a message. Again, I have had so much feedback from people about how professional this platform is. This at the moment has got the previous, you know, milestones video in it. Obviously, that's going to look different because we're going to put the M5 video in there, and that's sending them the confirmation of the info call all within the tool, which is amazing. So if we look at this, you are booking the appointment. You've got the contact, assessment, unboxing, WhatsApp call, recheck, subscription, and then an info call. And if you're doing a top-down approach, as I've shared, you know, that's going to look slightly different, yet it all still fits within the loop. And you might find that, you know what, that just, I'm going to try that. And I would say personally in my business, I probably do a 75-25% split in terms of how I invite people, okay? So that's what's working for me. And this is the Prison Business Starter Bundle. So, you know, you want to ensure that you've got a really strong duplication model. I know in the UK, we've got a new prison bundle that's working quite well. And again, this is going to duplicate. And I know those of you guys that have been in a new skin business for a long time are very accustomed to this. So I'm going to move on and talk about onboarding and getting started. And I absolutely love this because I know if you've been in this business any stretch of time, you know that this is one of the most painful, teeth-pulling things up until now, or can be, right? So why is it so important? Well, it builds belief, it gives people quick wins, and it exemplifies the simplicity of the system. And we know that ultimately somebody's success and somebody's belief of their ability to be successful is probably going to be solidified in their mind within the first couple of weeks, right? So we've got to get in there and we've got to create quick wins. And I absolutely love the M5 system for this, because in the onboarding, which if you've done the onboarding here, you will know that you get to map how many hours do I want to work a week? What income do I want to earn? You know, what am I ultimately wanting to get out of this business? Is it, you know, a few £100 a month, or is it, you know, multi six figures in time? And what I love about that as a mentor is that when somebody does that onboarding process, I'm then sent that information and I'm booking an initial call with them with the knowledge of what their current capacity is, what their current vision is, and where they want to go, and maybe their belief in their own ability. So that I, as a mentor, prior to that conversation, I'm really clear on what they're looking to create. Okay. So I love this quote: whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they'll want to come back and see you do it again. Walt Disney. And it's so true. Like, do you want to just duplicate like an average Joe, or do you want to duplicate M5 ninjas? Because if you want to have an incredible duplication system, which I feel seriously so honored to be able to present to you from stage, something that's totally changed my vision and my ability and my belief in what I'm going to achieve here at New Skin, then you want to ensure that you are getting people started exactly as the system intends, because it's all about duplication, okay? So this I love. We've heard Steffi talk about it. We've heard Kirsten talk about it. I think we've also heard Tracy talk about it. There's more repetition here. This is something I wrote into the slide, and Charlie got his 5 Levels of Leadership book out yesterday. He said, Izzy, I understand what you've written. I just want to take it straight from the book. And that for me was real reflection that I'd actually taken this on board without actually remembering where in the text I learned it. And that came from Mindset 5, right? So this is in the 5 Levels of Leadership. Step 1, I do it, competence. Step 2, I do it, and you are with me, demonstration. Step 3, you do it and I am with you, coaching. Step 4, you do it, empowerment. And step 5, you do it and someone is with you, reproduction. And that genuinely is why I joined this business. As soon as I knew that I didn't have to know everything, and that actually, if I had somebody that wanted to learn more, I could get Charlie to answer all the questions. That for me was the answer. And that is exactly what we have with M5, okay? So you are not going to onboard a new person and get them off going to do their own invitations, right? I've 100% done that in my business, and I will tell you that those people are not in the business anymore. They have crashed and they have burned. And this is something that I have really, really learned here at New Skin, having been in the industry for 7 years previously, is that people always need way more hand-holding than we realized in the beginning. And this tool, and this M5 assessment tool, is created so that there should not be any new starter that is coming into the business and they feel like they've just been kind of like drop kicked into the business. Off you go and do your invites. What I love about it is that you are teaching your new person, right? It's 50, 30, 2000. We've seen that already today. You are going to do 50 Ethor invitations with your new business partner, okay? It's been amazing for me to watch Jen and my team, you know, somebody that was with me at Beachbody, and she's come in and she's got a new starter and I'm not involved, and she's been doing the invitations with her. They've been doing the assessments together. There are LOI. She's about to become a brand rep at the end of this month, and Jen will be a Ruby. And that is because it is duplicating. Because when people are coming into the business, they see, oh, right, okay, I'm a new starter, and Izzy did this number of invitations with me. She was with me for every assessment that I needed to do in that first month. They see the success, they create 2,000 in volume, because on average, you're going to get about 100 volume from each assessment. And, you know, there might well be a brand rep or at least LOI in month 1. Jackie, who's come, you know, she's traveled here to the States the first time she's traveled overseas in 8 years, first time in the States. She's here this next few days because of this business, because of this. She was the first assessment that one of my business partners did with another business partner in her leg. Jackie was their first assessment. Jackie is a reflexologist and nutritionist as well. And she onboarded as a client. She onboarded as a client. She had a great experience. She got belief in the products. We invited her to the business. And when she came into the business, one of my team members said, hey, because of the split of my time, I don't have enough time to do all of this with Jackie. Would you do it with her? So I've gone down the line and I've worked with Jackie to do those invites, to do those assessments, traveled to Sussex to do them with her in person because she runs a reflexology clinic. And she has not once struggled to maintain and build beyond 2,500 in volume every single month that she's become a brand rep. And for me, that is the missing puzzle piece. It's been incredible to see that you get someone to brand rep and they're just up and they're floating. They're not like up and you're like, oh wow, they're like falling down and I'm going to have to pick them back up again and they're going to flip flop in and out. That's just not happening. And it's not happening because we're doing this. And so this part is so critical. And I'll say to you, maybe if you've been a leader in this business, and certainly this has been me, where I'm like, okay, well, you know, I don't want to spend loads of time with my team because then I'm not going to be able to drive my own business. Your success, absolutely. If you're Ruby Plus, you should be spending 50% of your time making your own circles green and 50% of your time helping your team make your circles green. And that genuinely has been one of the most rewarding things for me, is seeing how the direct reflection of my investment of my time is helping people come in and win. And so now Jackie's coming in and she's got another girl that she did all of her qualifications in beauty and aesthetics with, who's like, right, okay, well, she's done the assessment, she wants to be a customer, and she's going to look at coming into the business. Okay, prospected by somebody else at New Skin, I'll hasten to add, who didn't have this tool, who she got completely bombarded with business info and walked out the door. And we've come in, done the assessment with her, and now she's looking at the business. And we're going to see this happen more and more as we continue to build more confidence and momentum with this system. Okay, so this is how it looks. You're going to do 50 invitations with them, okay, over the month. You're going to do 30 scheduled assessments. And if you do that with them, you will be at least 2,000 GSV, okay? And that's them to brand rep. So really, really think about if you've got maybe existing business builders, which I know a lot of you guys in the room have here. Have they experienced this system? Is it new to them? Can I say hand on heart, I'm doing this? Okay, maybe you're learning this for the first time. This is the key to success. I believe whether or not you've got someone that's been in a business building top down and having not done this, or if they're brand new. And we're seeing time and again, people that are brand new, they might have never done network marketing before, and they are coming in and they are coming out of the gates and they are winning. And I have so much confidence about what I'm going to build at New Skin because of this, because we're seeing people win, okay? So you're going to do the invites with them, whether that's on Zoom, okay, whether it's in person. If you live quite close to them, I would say, yeah, probably schedule an hour and go and meet with them face to face, okay, and get it done, because that builds their confidence in you. And I know my new frontline brand rep who came in through the assessment process, said, yes, I'd like to look at the business, came into the business, was brand rep within 6 weeks. She said, I came into the business because I looked at the assessment and I thought, I could do that. And also, Izzy cares about me. She's taken her time to really understand what my problems are. And I believe that Izzy can get me what I want. No other system, guys, that exists in the network marketing environment is going to do that for you. It's building confidence and it's building trust. And it's really exciting. Okay, you're going to get 30 assessments scheduled as a result of those 50 invitations. And again, maybe you don't end up doing all 50 invites with them. What I love about the M5 system is that I am able to see at any one time, how is an individual doing? Are the invites converting at the percentage conversion I expect to see? And if not, I nip it in the bud quick, right? How's this invite going? What are you doing? Okay, let's tweak it a bit. And those percentage conversions have completely changed for individuals on my team because I'm able to see what's going on and I'm able to get in there quick before they've lost faith in the business, mentor them and get them where they want to go with the system. Okay? And that's going to generate 2,000 in volume. Okay, and that's what I love about it. If you've got somebody that's brand new into the business, work with them. It's feeding your GSV, okay, whilst doing your own. And that's it. So thank you so much. Woo!
Yeah.